I did a video on choices of The Walking Dead Season 1, and today, it's time for Season 2. Let's start and analyze. Kill or spare the dog. In Episode 1, titled All That Remains, Clem stumbles upon a starving dog named Sam. The poor pup is desperate for food, and you've got a can of beans in your inventory. Here's where the dilemma kicks in. You've got two options. 1, kill the dog. Clem can choose to put Sam out of his misery. She kicks him away, and he gets impaled by 2 metal pipes. It's a swift, merciful end, but it's still gut-wrenching. Spare the dog. Alternatively, you can decide not to kill Sam. Maybe you're a softie like me, and the thought of ending a suffering creature's life is too much. But be warned, Sam's fate isn't any rosier if you spare him. Sam's suffering ends swiftly. No more hunger pangs, no more pain. Clem feels the weight of her decision. Killing an innocent animal isn't easy, even in a zombie-infested world. Sam won't be by Clem's side throughout the game. No loyal doggo to share the apocalypse with. Spare the dog. Sam's fate. Even if you spare Sam, he's not long for this world. He'll die eventually, either from starvation or other dangers. Guilt trip. You'll carry the guilt of leaving a suffering creature behind. Clem's empathy shines through, but it's a heavy burden. Yep, Sam won't be joining your ragtag group. Sorry, Clem. Okay, let's get personal. What would I do? Well, I spared Sam. Why? Because even in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, compassion matters. Plus, I secretly hoped Sam would turn into a zombie dog and join our team. Alas, it wasn't meant to be. Objectively speaking, neither choice is a walk in the park, pun intended. But if you're aiming for maximum emotional impact and character development, I'd lean towards spare the dog. It's a poignant reminder of Clem's humanity amidst the chaos. Plus, it sets the tone for the tough choices she'll face throughout the season. So, my fellow survivors, what's your take? Are you team mercy kill or team soft spot for starving pooches? Let us know in the comments below. The next choice. Forgive Nick or not. In Episode 1 titled All That Remains, we find ourselves in a tense situation. Our group is on the run, and we stumble upon a bridge. Nick, our somewhat accident-prone companion, slips and accidentally shoots Walter's friend Matthew. Now we're faced with a decision. Do we forgive Nick for his blunder, or do we hold it against him? If you choose to forgive Nick, you'll reassure him that accidents happen. He'll appreciate your understanding and feel less guilty. Long-term effects. Nick's vulnerability is more obvious, but saving him seems to have had almost no impact in Episode 3 aside from a few extra lines of dialogue. In fact, losing Nick and Alvin doesn't create different content, it just gives you less content. Nick's character development, forgiving Nick, allows him to grow. He'll still be haunted by Matthew's death, but he'll appreciate your compassion. Expect more interactions with him throughout the season. But if you choose to blame Nick, he'll feel defensive and hurt. He'll be angry at Clementine for siding against him. Nick's fate remains uncertain. He might run off, and later, you'll discover that he's been captured by Carver's gang. This sets up a potential bargaining situation where you'll have to make a tough choice. Nick's character development, not forgiving. Nick leads to a more aggro version of him. He'll struggle with anger and resentment, but he's also resourceful. My take is, forgive Nick. Yep, that's right. Why? Nick is flawed, just like all of us. By showing compassion, you're not only helping him but also maintaining a sense of humanity. Plus, more Nick interactions mean more character development, and that's what this game is all about. It also makes game more decent, to be honest. But hey, if you want a grittier experience, go ahead and blame Nick. It's your story after all. Next, save Pete or Nick. You find yourself in a tight spot. You're with a group of survivors and walkers are closing in. Pete and Nick are both in danger, and you have to make a split-second decision. Who do you save? Saving Pete. After escaping the cabin, you'll be on a bridge with Pete. He's injured and walkers are closing in. You'll cut off Pete's leg to prevent infection. It's a brutal moment, reminiscent of Lee's amputation in Season 1. Pete survives but needs crutches to get around. Clem and Pete struggle to make it back to the cabin. Pete's fate later intertwines with Carver's group. If you choose Nick, Pete will be overwhelmed by walkers. Nick survives, but he's pissed at Clementine. Nick's character takes an interesting turn. He becomes more aggro. Pete's death establishes Carver as a greater threat. Nick's "I had to kill my mom" speech still happens later. Which choice is better? Saving Pete. provides more screen time for Pete, sets up the Matthew situation. Pete's last stand against Carver is intense, saving Nick. Nick's survival impacts the group. His anger and development add layers. Pete's death raises the stakes. Honestly, it's a tough call. Both options have their merits, and the storytelling benefits differ. Pete's character arc is richer. The amputation scene is memorable and emotionally charged. His interactions with Clem matter later on. Pete's death, if it happens, hits hard and establishes Carver's menace. The tension between Pete and Nick adds complexity to the group dynamics. Nick's survival introduces a different dynamic. His anger and struggle make for compelling storytelling. Clem's relationship with Nick evolves, and she becomes his defender. Nick's vulnerability contrasts with his earlier bravado. His "I had to kill my mom" revelation adds depth to his character. Okay, drumroll please. If I had to choose, I'd lean towards saving Pete. His character development pays off throughout the season. The emotional weight of his fate resonates. Pete's presence enriches the group dynamics. Plus, that amputation scene. Ouch. Next choice. In this episode, our young survivor, Clementine, finds herself trapped in a nightmarish community led by the menacing William Carver. Carver is like the governor's evil twin, minus the eye patch but with double the cruelty. He rules with an iron fist, and his compound is a grim place where hope goes to die. The choice. Amidst the chaos, Clem encounters Serita, a kind-hearted soul who has been through her fair share of walker-infested nightmares. Serita is dating Kenny, the grizzled veteran from Season 1. But here's the kicker. Carver has captured Kenny and the rest of the group. Serita is desperate to save Kenny, and she pleads with Clem to help. Option 1. Saving Serita. When, during a tense confrontation with Carver, you can choose to take the blame for a stolen walkie-talkie photo. This implicates you as the culprit, saving Serita from Carver's wrath. Consequences. Serita's gratitude. Serita appreciates your sacrifice and feels indebted to you. Carver's wrath. Carver punishes you instead, which isn't pleasant but keeps Serita safe. Kenny respects your loyalty but worries about your safety. Option 2. Sparing Serita. When Carver interrogates you about the photo, you can choose to remain silent or blame someone else. This keeps Serita out of the spotlight. Serita is relieved but concerned about your well-being. Carver remains suspicious of the group, and tensions rise. Kenny is disappointed that you didn't stand up for Serita. Saving Serita. This option shows loyalty and selflessness. You take the heat, but Serita remains safe. However, it might strain your relationship with Kenny. Sparing Serita. By keeping quiet, you protect Serita from Carver's wrath. But it's a riskier move, and Kenny won't be thrilled. I'd lean towards saving Serita. Plus, Kenny's a tough cookie. He'll understand. But hey, if you're feeling rebellious, go ahead and spare Serita. Next, saving or abandoning Sarah. The world has gone to hell. Walkers roam the land, and humanity clings to survival. Our group is trapped in a cramped trailer, the walls creaking under the relentless assault of undead hands. Luke, our steadfast friend, is there, beads of sweat on his forehead. And then there's Sarah, fragile, haunted by her past, and struggling to find her place in this new reality. What do we do? You, as Clementine, are faced with a gut-wrenching decision. Do you save Sarah or leave her behind? Clementine tries to comfort Sarah, urging her to come with you. It's a touching scene, emphasizing compassion and empathy. You see the fear in Sarah's eyes, the weight of her past trauma. Saving Sarah takes precious time. The walkers are closing in, their gnarled fingers scraping the door. Kenny, already on edge, glares at you. He's seen too much loss. Sarah stumbles after you, her breaths ragged. She survives, for now. But her mental state remains fragile, affecting future events. Or leave Sarah behind. It's brutal. You leave Sarah behind, her tear-filled eyes pleading with you. The walkers close in, and she's left to face them alone. Kenny's anger flares. He blames you for not trying harder. You escape faster, the adrenaline pushing you forward. But the guilt weighs heavy, a stone in your gut. Sarah dies. Kenny's anger intensifies, and the group dynamics shift. In my opinion, the best choice here simply is save Sarah. Not saving her doesn't really have any benefit, to be honest. Next, shoot Kenny or look away. In Episode 5, Tensions reach a boiling point. Kenny and Jane lock horns over the fate of a newborn baby, AJ. Jane believes survival requires cold pragmatism, while Kenny clings to hope and loyalty. Their argument escalates into a brutal fight, and you, dear player, are caught in the crossfire. Option 1, shoot Kenny. You pull the trigger, and Kenny falls. His journey ends here, and it's a gut punch. You're left with a mix of relief, no more Kenny drama, and guilt. You just killed a friend. Jane reveals that AJ is alive and hidden nearby. You both head to Wellington, a supposed safe haven. But guess what? They're full up. Kenny insists you go in with AJ, while he faces the wilderness alone. It's a bittersweet farewell. Option 2, look away. You turn your head, unable to watch Kenny's demise. Jane takes care of business, and Kenny's still breathing. You're relieved but haunted by the choice. Jane confesses about AJ and you head to Wellington together. Again, they're full. This time, you decide to stay with Kenny. He's your rock, your apocalypse dad. You both walk off into the unknown, like a gritty buddy movie. All right, time to pick a side. My recommendation? Drumroll, please. Look away. Why? Because loyalty matters in this messed up world. Kenny's been through too much to be left behind. Sure, Jane's pragmatic, but Kenny's your rock. Plus, you get to keep your apocalypse dad. Wellington can wait. You've got family to protect. And that's enough. These were the most important choices of Season 2. Let me know which ones you agree with and which you don't. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and have a nice day.